Hi, Downey. I am your current mayor of the city of Downey, Hector Sosa, and welcome to Talking Downey. Today, I am the host. I'm usually in the hot seat, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Ronnie Fernandez.
Thank you for having me, Hector.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Ronnie Fernandez runs the Fernandez Therapy Group, and Ronnie's been a fixture here in the city of Downey for many years,
Yep.
right?
Yep, over 10 years I think I've been living here. Yeah,
Yeah,
10,
this is the
over 10
first time
years.
we sat down. I'm actually pretty excited about this because, well, for two reasons. I'm not in the hot seat today. I'm usually where you're at.
Yeah.
And also, I get to ask the questions and we get to talk about a topic that I believe is really important. And the topic of, men's mental health, therapy, and all things related to that.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
So, Fernandez Therapy Group, when did you start that?
We just started this year, actually. I've been a therapist for over 10 years now. I've had my private practice for about 6 years, and just really want to focus on just kind of how to bring therapy more to everybody, right? I think there's still that little stigma with therapy, and so with our different therapists, we all have different specialties, right? So for me, it's men's mental health, so I focus on men's mental health.
Thank you for doing that. I think the audience will agree that men's mental health is a very important topic, and maybe you can shed some light on your personal journey and the mental health field.
Yeah.
And how it shaped your approach
Right.
to addressing and helping men with
Right.
mental health.
Yes. So I received my bachelor's from Dominguez Hills, and then I went to USC School of Social Work. And so when you're in those fields, right, of like mental health and social work, there's not a lot of men there. It's majority women, and so a lot of the focus goes more towards women and people at disadvantage, and not a lot goes into men's mental health from my experience. And so I was like, man, there's a need here. There's a need for therapy to be more appealing to men. So I think a lot of times when we think of therapy for men, men seem to be really reluctant to kind of seek help. And so I really did a real deep dive into men's mental health and why we don't do it, right? And so and for me being the minority in the field of being a male, and saying like, okay, well, if it's not me, then who else is going to be? So
Right.
so yeah.
Well, no, it totally makes sense. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that because we all know there's a stigma to mental health overall, but men's
Yeah.
mental health because we're proud.
Right.
We
Absolutely.
we have a lot of pride and then we get stubborn, even like when we have to, ask for directions
Right.
or ask for any type of help, even if it's the simplest help.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to be able to say, I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Right.
But it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, and I think that's how we were kind of groomed, right? Is that we had to be tough, that we had to be able to figure it out on ourselves. And the thing is that most of the time it does work, right? Sometimes
Right.
you just put your head down and you got to get it done. There's no excuses. And that's how we've built that, right? But there's some times in our lives that we get stuck and
Yeah.
that we can't overcome it by ourselves, and we don't have the tools yet to ask for help. And so and I think one of the main things I've seen like in men's depression is that it doesn't look like you're just kind of sad, crying, and like just kind of soaking in the corner when you're a man. It's more, it looks more like irritability. You're isolating yourself. Oh, I'm not going to go out. I'm going to go watch the game by myself, or not doing things that you used to do. And so, and also the high irritability where little things are going to get you upset. And so a lot of these things we don't think about when we think of depression. We think of, oh, he needs anger management. Hey, there's something wrong, those type of things. But in reality is we weren't really taught the tools to go out and ask for help and what that looks like, right? I mean, when we're young, we go with the guys. We might have a couple beers and we have a good time. But after that, once we become a family, I feel like sometimes what I've seen a lot of men is like, okay, this is our job. We're the father, we're the husband, and we need to be that rock. But sometimes, I mean, life just it gets to us.
Yeah, I think we all understand that there's a lot of pressure on men, especially uh, uh, being a man raised here in Southern California. It's expensive to live here.
Right.
When you start raising a family, we have a
Right.
lot of responsibilities, and I can understand the stigma to it. But the thing that we have to realize is you're a professional.
Hmm.
You're a professional in your own right, and you've studied. You have the credentials. You've earned it, and we go to professionals for basically every need in our life.
Right.
Anywhere from a mechanic, we entrust our cars with a professional mechanic. We go to the doctor. The doctor goes through rigorous studying to, pass the necessary exams and whatever field they go into. So we entrust our health with them,
Right.
and sometimes we need some more serious than help than others, and we entrust our bodies and our health with professional doctors. We get our taxes done with professionals. We go
Right.
through financial planning with professionals, and why not, go through a professional when it comes to mental health or therapy?
Right. And I think I think that's 100% true. But I also feel like the field has not we haven't really focused towards men and what's going to get them to be a part
Why
of
do you
it.
think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. So we have to look like what works, right? So what works when you think of like your dad, your grandfather, right? Like what worked for them, and we look at all the negative things, right? We look at all the negative things but like something that's healthy, they usually like have hobbies, right? They play golf, they may go fishing, they do those type of things, right? Have outings where they hang out with people, but yet we don't encourage that like in mental health, which is weird, right? Which
Right.
I think we should kind of meet people where they're at, and so I think we have to promote golfing with your friends, right? Outside of golfing, your golf buddies, do you see them just to like talk? Like no, a lot of times you do those things so you're able to have some time with your friends and going and talking. And so I think if you are having some sort of like isolation, you're not doing things that you used to do, things get you upset, you want to do something first, right?
Right.
And so a lot of the times it's basic things. It's sleep, make sure that you're sleeping,
Right.
you exercise, you're hanging out with your friends, and if those things are not working, then it's time. Then you have to. It's kind of like any kind of challenge. You have to figure it out, like what's gonna work.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, you brought up golf. I love to golf. I go out there. I got my sons into it. And, we have the best weather here in Southern
Right.
California, from the nation. But nothing beats going out there on a beautiful day, playing on a nice course. You're hanging with your boys.
Right.
And sometimes you're able to just bounce things off of them. And that's therapeutic.
Right.
It really is. I'm not that good. I'm not going to be on the PGA Tour anytime soon, but there's something about being out there
Right.
and being able to, it's the social factor part of that.
Right.
And sometimes, like my wife and I, we like to go on hikes and just being out in nature.
Yeah.
You know,
And those are the interventions that we want to see.
Yeah.
Is okay. We need to go for hikes, and even in therapy, like we have to have those type of interventions. We're like,
Right.
we're going to go work out. Like I'm trying to work with different people in the community. Like, hey, can we do like a weightlifting thing for guys where
Yeah.
we just kind of, because I mean I used to lift weights in high school, and and it was lifting weights, but also talking. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go, lift some weights. How much can you bench? Like all those type of things kept us talking. And
Yeah.
so I think coming from that angle too, and those are the things that I really would like to bring, where it's not just like, okay, there's a problem. It's a thing where no, it's time to take action. You need to be, get things going. And I don't know. I think I was talking to my wife. I was talking to some about like sometimes when you become a father and a husband, you feel like, all right, this is my sole job. I need to be here. I need to provide. I need to be a father. I need to be a husband. And we forget about us. And I think that's also a society thing too.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about mental health, I'll talk about it. Oh yeah, so they could be good fathers.
Yeah.
Oh, so they could be good husbands. Like, well, how about that person? How about that man? Right?
Yeah.
It's like and the big stat that I always bring up is the suicide rate. So we're talking about it's about 3-4 times the rate of women.
Yeah.
And so it's a thing where we hold it in and we don't know what to do with it. And so I think being able to kind of like say, look, golfing is really important. Might not sound important to a lot of people, but to be able to hang out with your friends once a month, whatever, is a huge deal. Working out, those type of things. And you can learn a lot from golf.
Yeah.
I just took lessons. I'm just taking lessons
Uh-oh.
now.
Watch
Yeah,
out.
right? Because like, there's something to this. And guys, like, you try hard too much. You need to relax. And so trying to learn how to relax. So all these little things that I think if we would break down for people, like, I think it would help with, when it gets to that point of reaching out for professional help. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that the social factor and just being out and enjoying the nice weather that we're blessed with here in Southern California. Like, I give an example. Like, I've had a really busy year, and it was just a few weeks ago where I was coming off a really busy week, and I was just at home. We had a busy weekend, but Sunday just, we make it a point to relax, and we were relaxing at home, and my younger son comes up to me and says, "Hey, Dad, let's go play a few holes of golf." I said, I thought about it. I told my wife, I said, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
I've had a kind of a long, stressful week.
Right.
And it was so simple. We just went out. I think we got in, 11 or 12 holes. But it felt good.
Right.
It felt good. I felt so relaxed when I got home.
Yeah.
And, I got some quality time in with my son. And that was, it was really cool. It's just something simple.
Right. And I think sometimes we think we need this huge intervention if we're, feeling irritated or we're just kind of feeling down. Sometimes you just need to go hit some balls around, hang out with the guys, or just, do something for yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is, we got to be able to bounce some stuff off of each other because we all go through things. And I can tell you right now, I think we all understand that no one has it all figured out. I don't care how successful you are, what field you're in. How much money you got in the bank. No one has it all figured out. Yeah. We all need help at some point. And I got to tell you, the men's mental health. I brought this up on the dais on one of our city council meetings. It was around last summer. Someone from Southgate invited me to. They had a men's mental health awareness fair. In Southgate, and it was huge. It was backed by the county, and my wife and I went there, and I didn't see anybody from Downey that I recognized, but there was this huge fair. I was so impressed. Yeah. I'm like, we need this in Downey.
Right.
And so I came back, and I brought it up in a council meeting on the dais. I said, I asked staff to look into holding a men's mental health awareness fair this year in 2025. So we got the ball rolling on that. And, I was kind of surprised and I wasn't. But I brought it up on the dais, and there's some guys in the audience that I know. And, we have people that watch it on YouTube virtually. And I was kind of blown away by the amount of phone calls and texts I received over the next few days from some guys I know, some of them tough guys.
Right.
And they just said, hey, Hector, thank you for doing that.
Right.
Thank you for bringing that up. And however I can help, we want to help. I want to be able to help with the men's wellness fair that you're putting together.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, thank you for acknowledging that. And, that kind of, solidified. I'm like, you know what, this is something we really need to address here.
Yeah. Thank you for pulling that together and just being able to have people just have the discussion, right? I mean, it's a thing where we don't talk about it. And even for myself, right? I'm a therapist. I do all this stuff, but yet, I see myself like, man. And you, I mean, especially you, right? You're the mayor, you're running around, you have a job, and we just are so focused, and we tend to forget about ourselves, right? And I was wondering, why am I isolating myself? I don't want to go out. I don't want to I just want to be with myself. I'm overworking, all these type of things, and and it's just like those are symptoms of like male depression,
Right.
right? Overworking, not, isolating, not doing things you're supposed to do, and it's like, what? Why? I should know that right away, right?
Right.
And it's just like no, and it's just not until we do the deep down research, and then and then I am looking for information. There's not a lot of information,
Right.
and so it's a thing was like, okay, well then I have to go ahead and do it. And then I found out you were doing the men's mental health, I was like, it's perfect. Like we really need to get the word out where, where like men are being, and so look, I think there's a big old thing about like feeling weak, right? If we can't handle something, we like feel like, oh my God, but it's also being vulnerable. Like, okay, do I have somebody that I can talk to and just go ahead and let them know, you know? And you don't want to go to talk to everybody. I think we learned as kids, like we can't show a lot of emotions out in public, right? Because I think we've had a discussion about this of like, there's really mean people out there, right? Especially being a kid. And I think we're taught to hold down our feelings and not to talk about it. But once you have a good group of friends or just that one person that you're able to talk to, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. Somebody that you haven't talked to in years sometimes, and you just vent to them and you talk to them, and that really helps. But I think giving out that information is such a huge thing.
It really is, and I appreciate that whole sentiment. And for the audience watching this right now, you may be thinking of a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. Reach out to them, check in on them,
right?
Say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You
can tell them you need help. Like if I call you, it's like, hey, I need help moving my couch or something like that to get that person out of the house. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people don't want to to admit that they're not doing well. So
and to the audience, if you didn't know, Ronnie did participate on a panel at our first annual, our inaugural Men's Mental Health Awareness Fair, and we had some great panels. We're gonna grow. We're gonna expand upon this every year. That's my goal, and that was actually one of my main initiatives during this year, my mayoral year, and because I think it's really important to bring awareness. We had some great panels. Ronnie Fernandez sat along. Rick Rodriguez, former Mayor Rick Rodriguez.
Ellis White.
We had Ellis White from Premier Fitness, and then we had I can't think of his name. From Celico, yeah.
Yes.
I'll think of his name. But it was a great panel, great discussion, some real discussions. And then I was able, I had an opportunity to interview Downey's own Abner Mares, former multi-time champ in boxing, world champ in boxing. And that was great. But, got the audience, it gave the audience an opportunity to hear from professionals, from men that I respect, and I have the deepest amount of respect for you, Ronnie. And a lot of, I got a lot of positive feedback afterwards, because the audience was able to resonate with some of the, the experiences and some of the words that you guys shared. And it was really, really genuine, which I appreciated. I thought it was really necessary. And again, I'm excited to expand upon that every year.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it's such a huge thing to continue, and being able to let guys know, like, it's okay. Like, we're all, we're all struggling. Like what you said, we nobody's figured it out.
Right.
And so being able to find ways to help to like support each other, and and it's such a big thing to have that first event. So
yeah. No, that's good stuff. Good stuff. So look out for that. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. A lot of people don't know that because we don't talk about it. But we're definitely going to raise awareness going forward every year here in the city of Downey. So now let's switch gears a little bit. Tell me about some of the programs and some of the services that you offer at Fernandez Therapy.
Well, right now we have a couple therapists, and so right now it's myself, and we have two other therapists, and right now we're just doing on individual therapy, but we're looking to have groups. I'm trying to find because guys, it's really hard to get them right to go ahead and talk, and so we want to kind of switch it up. So starting next month, we're gonna start having virtual groups where it's more of discussion groups than me going ahead and saying you need to do this. It's more of like how are we going to figure this out? And so we'll have one on Tuesdays and one on Thursdays to be able to have more of a discussion. And we'll talk about like how to better control your anger, how to communicate better. But it'll be more of a discussion style because I think we tend to like learn more if it's more of a discussion than, you know, when you do this is bad, like we don't want any of that stuff. And so we're starting to have those type of groups. I mean, in the future we would love to have like, you know, where we're at a barber shop, we're at a gym, those type of things. And so again, we're very just started. So those are the things that we would like in the future to become more of like that this is more appealing, you know, where then we have to walk in with our head down. Is more of like, no, we need to be able to power through, you know, figure it out.
Yeah, that's important. You know, this day and age, it's really important for us men, or all of us overall, to be equipped with the tools to be able to handle things, handle stressful situations. And, you know, we have to be right. We have to be right in so many different ways, physically, mentally.
Yeah.
You know, I've always loved the analogy of every time, and most of us ignore this, but when we board a plane, you know, the stewards and the stewardesses go through the old quick clinic on what to do in case of an emergency. And when they go through the instructions on how to use the oxygen mask, they always emphasize, and a lot of us forget this, that make sure you have it on properly, that you're good to go before you try to help your neighbor.
Right.
So there's so many different parallels and analogies that I like to take away from that in so many different areas of life. And being right mentally is top of mind, because we need to make sure we're right and that we're able to just, you know, carry on a daily basis.
Yeah. And I think
before we're able to help others.
Yeah, and I think we need to know what that looks like for guys. I don't think we do, right? It's either somebody was saying like it's either we're fine or we're mad, and there's a lot in between, right?
Yeah.
And so understand like when you're good, like what does that look like for you? You know, are you like playing with your kids more? Are you have more energy? When are you not? You know, what do those look like? Because for a lot of men, like I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I'm sad sometimes. But I tell a lot of men, like, you have to look at your symptoms. You have to look at what's going on with you. Like, do you not have enough energy? Or you have trouble sleeping? You want to look at the symptoms more than our feelings. And I think sometimes in the mental health field, we go more on feelings. And I think for men, we kind of need to see that concrete kind of, you know, of example of like, no, I used to play basketball with my friends on every Friday or once a month, and now I'm not doing that. Okay, and I don't have that energy like I used to. All right, I need to be active, you know, hang out with my friends more. So I think looking out for those type of things.
Yeah, having friends, having a good circle of friends is key, is important to know that you can lean on, and sometimes the simplest thing of just being with your boys, and you know, when you're hanging out with your boys, there's going to be some roasting going on,
right.
You know, but there's a lot of genuine love. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's traditionally that's what men do, right? We just kind of mess with each other.
It's healthy, yeah.
Yeah, it's healthy, and so it's a thing where we want to be at that. You know, there's things that you'll say with your friends that you're not going to say with your wife, right? They're just different things that you're going to say, and so. I think having that is really important. And, you know, what we've kind of seen is that men in their 30s, like late 20s, early 30s, that we lose a lot of our friends because we kind of focus on our career.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we lose those connections. And so once we have our family once we have our family, we lose that. And so being able to reconnect and being able to have things that you look forward to.
Yeah. Good. So who is best suited for the services you offer?
I think it's two, right? I think for the younger generation that are maybe in their 20s, early 20s, that kind of need to find a way out of their situation, right? They might not be on the path that they want to be, right? To help figure out where they want to go. And the other one is, and I really think like it's a lot of like men that are like between 40 and 50, where we're not, we're not doing those type of things that we used to. Getting used to like our body changing, getting used to our relationships changing.
Yeah.
And so being able to learn those skills where, when we grew up in a generation where it was more of like you had to be tough, you had to be, those type of things, and which is great. And I always have a thing about like we don't want to lose our masculinity. Like we want to make sure that we still are able to do masculine things, right?
Right.
But we also need to know when to be vulnerable as well, as like, okay, look, I'm not doing good. I don't feel great right now. I need to, I should go ahead and talk to somebody. And, and I think if you kind of see what's going on in your life, and because we get caught up, right? We do a lot of things. Like I was, I'm part of Rotary. I'm part of Talking Downey. I run a nonprofit. I do all these things. And it's like, okay, how about me? Like, I kind of need to control.
Yeah.
I need to be able to look, hey, where are my friends at? Where am I hanging out? Like, what am I doing? And it's just like, and it got to a point where it's just like, no, I need to cut some things out to be able to take care of myself.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
exactly.
Pretty sure you have this, you running around.
Yeah. No, sometimes, I have flexibility in what I do for a living, but I do, being on city council, we put in as much time as we want to. But this is, I think those who have been mayor before understand that this has been the busiest year of my life.
Right.
But we have to remember we have the power to say no. I do prioritize my family. My wife and I just, celebrated our 27th anniversary.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. She still laughs at my jokes, which I appreciate.
Great.
But, it's important for us to maintain balance.
Correct.
I still have to, we just, we're not paid, we get a stipend for what we do for the city. And we have to remember, for me, my business is a priority and my family's a priority. So it's a constant balancing act. And to give you an example, my schedule gets crazy sometimes. And
Right.
I remember not too long ago, I had just a really busy week. And it was kind of burnt out.
Right.
Got to the weekend. I said, all right, I was looking forward to hanging out with my family. And I had committed to an event on a Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon. And I had some family over, and one of my colleagues asked me, like, hey, are you going to be there? And I thought about it. I said, what? I can't. I got to,
Right.
I'm just not feeling it. I got to take a step back, and I got my family here, and I'm going to hang out with my family.
And I think those are important things that a lot of us can't, are not aware, like, we don't do that, right? We just say yes to everything. And I think for me, like, especially being like a people pleaser, and I want to make everybody happy and those type of things, those are the things that we work on. Is like, hey, you're gonna have to say no sometimes.
Well, yeah, as far as
hard.
making people happy and being a people pleaser, right? I realized as soon as I got elected, you're not going to make everybody happy. Newsflash.
Right.
So,
and that's one thing that I'm working on is definitely saying no and like, not having people.
So, one question for you, I think is important for the audience to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we all understand that health coverage and health insurance is expensive.
Right.
Can be really expensive, and it's important to have a good, have a good health or benefit package with whoever your employer is.
Right.
Which leads me to ask you, how affordable and how accessible are your services, and why is it important to have accessibility and affordability when it comes to therapy?
Right. Yeah, it is. And so there's the therapy business part of it is a little tricky, right? It's a thing where we have some therapists that make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen up to like $250 per session. And so we try to keep it affordable. That's why I'm trying to do more groups where it's more affordable, right? So we can do one group for 100, or we can do four group sessions for like 120, right?
Okay.
So
it's not bad.
I'm trying to have things more affordable where if we do have it in groups, even if you don't have insurance or anything, you can still, that's a lot of co-pays and stuff. And so that's kind of the angle that I feel like we're going to go towards. And then also become paneled with more insurance, which is tough. We have our contract with Kaiser, so we do take Kaiser, and they're great, and we like dealing with Kaiser, and so but we're a little nervous with the other one. So it's something, but to kind of for our services to be affordable, I think insurance is such a big deal because it makes it affordable. So we would look to more groups and more things that are more that are out in the community.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing that. It's tough because you know what, you're a professional. You put the time in, and you offer a valuable service that goes a long way. You should be fairly compensated. You know what I mean? Because not everybody can do that. You know, I get it. It's a challenge to balance that out with, I'm trying to help people. But at the same time, you know, you got to put food on the table.
Correct.
You know.
And it's hard. It's hard, just trying to balance everything and just even with the insurance, like how do we balance all that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is that we're going to offer more groups.
Great. Now, how do you work to reduce isolation and connection for men?
So I think I mean, we would talk about what does that look like for them, right? If it's like for myself, I overwork, right? I work too much. I want to hang out with my kids. I want to hang out with my wife, and those are all very important to me. But there's also times where like, okay, what do I like to do? And I think for me, it's hard because I don't know what that is. And I think for a lot of men, we don't know what it is because we're used to working, we're used to doing a lot of things where it's like, okay, what's fun? So what I try to do for me is like, okay, well, a lot of people that I know golf, so let me try golfing,
Yeah.
And so I think it's just kind of like an individual thing of like, what do you want to get into, right? So there's some times where when I was younger, I made pizzas. So like every other week, I'll try to make homemade pizzas within my oven and stuff. And so it's just being active and finding things that you like to do,
right?
And then, hanging out with your friends, and it's always a hard thing. I feel like for a lot of men, for us to go out, there has to be a purpose, and it's hard to say, okay, I just want to go out to kind of hang out. And so I think it's just kind of really talking about what are your interests, and if you don't have any interests, going on that journey and figuring out what you like to do.
Yeah, no, that's important. Self-reflection.
Yeah.
We've talked about golf a few times, and it's funny, because you go out golfing with your boys. I don't care how good the golfer is. Everybody's going to have a bad day, just like in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a few scenarios where one of the guys, or even myself, just having a bad golf game, because golf can be very humbling. And you see one of your guys getting frustrated and having a bad day. It's like, dude, you're playing golf. You're not working right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're out here playing golf.
Yeah.
And lighten up. Cheer
Right.
up. The thing about golf, and just like in life, all it takes is one good shot. Like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, I got.
Yeah.
I'm doing something here. I got something going.
And that's a great example of why we need to have friends and to interact with people, because we have thoughts. We have really negative thoughts about our life, society, and you need that friends. Like, really, a lot of times as a therapist, that's kind of what we do. Is like we hear different stories and how that story's played in our head.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need somebody who's like, are you really a bad person because you did that? Or is it because of this, and this?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really great example of like making it, understandable for a lot of people. It's like, hey, come on, man, we're out here playing golf. It's a beautiful day. We're hanging out, like it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And so those are the importance of like seeing a therapist, having friends, those type of things.
Yeah. So, golf is an activity, and we mentioned other activities, but when I think of activities, you could also think of creativity.
Right.
And how important is it to be active and to incorporate creativity in our daily lives, and how does that support healing when it comes to mental health?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think you need to have that, like, outside of your family, outside of all the responsibilities, is have some sort of passion, have some sort of thing that's going to help you. Like working on cars, you go ahead and you used to like to work on cars as a kid, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And so it's being able to do those type of things, because I grew up in a family where people worked and then they were done, right?
Yeah.
They sat in front of the TV, had beer, drank beer, and that was their night. But if you do that so long for years and years and years, like think about it, like you just sit there in your thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
We've all been through something.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, whatever your background is, we've all been through something.
Yeah.
And so being able to and having to sit in those thoughts, drinking the beer, smoking, doing all
Yeah.
those type of things, we sit on it and we see things on our phone and all those type of things, and so that's how things go bad in our head. And so being able to talk to people about it, being able to have your mind going, and I think sometimes we're given the message of like, you need to talk about your feelings, you need to talk, like, you can talk about it and deal with it, but then you also have to like get moving. You got to do stuff.
Yeah.
You can talk all you want, but you also have to learn how to cope with it, and how that's going to be for you. So being able to find out why, outside of your responsibilities, what do you like, right? And I think sometimes as fathers and husbands, we don't really think about that.
Yeah, no, I think at the basis of it, I think staying active is important. I'm not the professional here. You are.
Yeah.
But I've been through some stuff, and I know that even if you're just having a bad day, go out for a walk. I like to run. Go out for a run.
Right. That's probably we underestimate going for a walk. Like really, and so we want to think things to get us out of those spaces, right? If we're just like feeling like terrible and we're just in a bad spot, we're just sometimes we have these negative thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Just being able to get out of the house and go for a walk. Yeah. Simple things, lifting weights. I know I'm a lot happier when I lift weights and when I take care of myself than if I'm running around to different things and doing those commitments. And so, like, I know, like, I always tell people, like, you have to create your secret sauce. Like, what is your sauce, right? Yeah. For me, waking up early, working out, doing some sort of activity, and spending time with my wife, spending some time with my kids, and I'm good. If that's off, then I need to look at what's kind of going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no, great point.
I think what you were saying about the basic things, going for walks, making a phone call, like, even if you're having a bad day, you don't have to talk about it with your friend. Like, the bad day, you can talk about. I have a friend that we used to have good times. He's a great guy, and I just call him just to have a good laugh and kind of get out of it. And so, I think use the people around you, to kind of being able to reach out and kind of get out of those, like, we call them ruts. We just kind of need to climb out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you envision the future in the next several years in the community and serving the community for Fernandez therapy?
Well, I would like to do it where it's part of, like, it's part of the community, right? Where we are having weekly sessions where we're having topics, but we're lifting weights, right?
Yeah.
Or we're for people that have haircuts, because the barbershop is so therapeutic.
Yeah.
You go there, you talk to people, you have those interactions, you build relationships with the barbers. And you talk to a barber, and they've heard some stuff.
Oh yeah,
they've
heard it all.
Yeah, and there's different programs. I think there's like Chicago, different areas where they like actually train barbers to become like better listeners, those type of things.
Yeah.
Because it's for men, they have to be more active, and so I think doing those type of things, those are the big idea things. But I think right now it's like trying to slowly build it, and so being able to start with the virtual programs, those type of things. Yeah. But that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Nice, very nice. So for our audience here, if there's someone listening, watching this podcast, and they could benefit from using your services or talking to someone like you, how do you recommend they go about that?
So you can go to our website at fernandeztherapygroup.com. Also go to our Instagram, and then for myself, it would be the on Instagram, it's therapy but for guys. And so we came up with that name because I just felt like there wasn't a lot of interventions for men, and so it's therapy, but it's for guys. So it's kind of for people that might not be great with their feelings, and that might not seem like modern therapies for them, and so it's focused more towards men because I just didn't really see that in the field. Yeah. So
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. That's how you get in touch with Ronnie. Ronnie's doing some great work in the community here. I've worked with Ronnie and his lovely wife Joanna for many years on for different causes, and great family. They're doing some great work here. You've done a lot of great work here with taking the reins of the 1020 Club.
Yes.
After Daryl Jackson,
Yep.
the legendary everybody's
Big
favorite
shoes. Big shoes
everybody's
to fill.
favorite lefty.
Yeah.
Daryl Jackson, and your work with Gangs Out of Downey, with which both of us, we work closely together on that,
Yeah.
and just want to thank you for all that, and
Thank you.
just want to let the audience know that Ronnie Fernandez, he's the real deal, someone I have the utmost respect for, and you know what, I feel good after this talk. I feel it feels good. Wait, am I going to get an invoice for this?
No.
All right. Yeah, I feel good all of a sudden, but no, but all kidding aside, if you need some help, or if you have a friend or family member, reach out to them. And if you feel like they can benefit from at least having an initial conversation with Ronnie, reach out to him, because it's very helpful, it's vital, it's important, and you know what? It's okay to say, hey, I need help.
Right.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. So, you know how to look up Ronnie Fernandez, and it's I've really enjoyed this. It's been a blessing to be here, and again, just men talking, about relevant stuff. So, with that said, thank you for joining us, and we're going to check out now. And thank you for joining Talking Downey.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.